Hello everyone, I'm Bets Golden. Thank you so much for joining me. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome again, and you are joining me right now for my Christmas in July series. And so basically every day I show you, give you some, hopefully provide some inspiration, a challenge for you to create something, a Christmas card, so to speak, in July that'll be ready to go off in the mail around Christmas. This way you can enjoy the holidays and enjoy the whole process instead of feeling totally overwhelmed. Plus, it'll give you some ideas of what you can do, or at least that's my hope. Plus, Christmas in July kind of is a thing, so I thought that it was catchy and it would work. All right, so today I want you to think about your local area, and I want you to create a card based on where you live. Now, this may sound tricky, but it really isn't, because usually we start to accumulate and buy things that are familiar to us, that is our hometown, our local. So, for me, I grew up in California and I moved to Arizona, so of course I have some cactuses. Now, I've tried to avoid the cactuses for many, many, many years, but it's official. I have now lived in Arizona the majority of my life. So I have grown to love them, but that wasn't always the case. So if you're in an area, maybe you're military and you move around a lot, if you want to do something that represents your hometown, that's cool too. So for the Southwest, you can do things with cactuses. If you are on if you're in the Bay Area, or if you're on the coast, you can do beachy theme, Florida, beachy theme. If you're in the city, you could do a cityscape type deal. You can do, if you're a flyover state, you could do a really cute airplane with a banner on the back that says Merry Christmas. So I want you to pull in something in your area that you see every day. Me, it's cactuses. I see cactuses every day. So I'm going to use this paper and some cacti images to create a Christmas card. Now, I lucked out. My local craft store, Paper Collage, actually they created this paper and it is really top notch. I'm quite impressed with that. Nice quality on it. And so I did go ahead and pick some up. But you don't have to have it decked out for Christmas like this. You can simply add a Christmas hat, add some snow. There are ways that you can make things festive. You can even simply change it up with using red and green and a Christmas sentiment, and it will work. So with that in mind, let's get started. I am going to be using these images. I do have cactus stamps, but I found these already stamped and it saves me a step, and I thought, I can use that from my stash. My friend Marie, who is a Brutus Monroe designer, she also was on Canvas Core Brands with me, did this for me as a favor because I really wanted this stamp set from Brutus Monroe, and so she went off and she stamped it for me. So I thought, I can use that. But I wanted to show you how to use Copic markers for beginners like myself. Real quick on this, just because I get a lot of questions on how to use Copics, and I by no means am a colorist or an expert, but there are a few tips that might be beneficial, and this would be a good opportunity for me to go ahead and show you how to use an alcohol-based marker for someone who is as inexperienced and a novice as I am. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick out 3 colors, in the same color family, I should say, varying in shade, in lightness to darkness. And so for me, I'm just going to use these 3 beautiful colors to color in this cactus. And I'm just going to color in this cactus right here because it seems to be the best that can show the technique that I'm going to quickly do with you. And you're always going to want to put your paper on a scratch piece of paper. This is my paper that I use all the time when I'm coloring with Copic, and what it does is it allows for any of that extra alcohol ink that might seep in. It will seep down into the paper instead of back up through your project, which causes bleed out, and that can be annoying, especially when you've worked really hard on something. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the brush end with my lightest color, and I am going to color this entire image in. This is the only pen that I'm going to come back to. Now, alcohol blending pens, they're called blenders, are not really blenders, they are erasers. When you want to blend, you are going to use the lightest color in your spectrum, what you're using on your project. This is going to be my blender. If I want to erase color or add highlights, that is when I pull out my color blender. Color blenders have really been misnamed and misrepresented. They really are color erasers. So now I'm going to use my second color, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to cheat. See, the artist has already given me, I can just follow his shading. And so the artist has already laid the groundwork. I just need to go in and just shade it up. So I'm going to go in with my second color, kind of in around where the artist is, and just go over those lines. And I'm being very generous with my ink right now, and pay special attention to where there's a lot of shading. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with my darkest color and just do that again, but a little, reserve a little bit back and show a little bit of discipline, and just kind of go in right where he is. And I believe this is illustrated by Christopher Allen. I could be wrong. He may have had someone else do it. That's why I'm saying he. And then I'm just going to go through and just add in where those shading, that shade is right over the illustrator's lines. And it does look right now really harsh and not so pretty. I know. And that's why this next step is so crucial. Once you get all of your image shaded, you're going to go back through and you're going to pick up that marker you first started with, and you are going to just color over the entire thing, which will blend everything together. And if there's spots that need to be blended more, you just simply keep coloring over it and it will blend out like so. All right. Now I have, but see right here, like that to me needs to be blended a little better. So I just went in. Now I have a little cactus. If I'm not a perfect colorist, remember. So I have colored outside of the lines. So all you do for that, you could go ahead and take your color eraser and push it back in. But I like to take a white gel roll pen and just go over the lines that I colored out of, and it will totally camouflage and make it look good. Okay, so let's go ahead and just color in this pot using that same technique. Again, I'm going to start with my lightest color, and I am going more for a red instead of a brown, more of a like a pink red undertone of this because it is Christmas. And so I'm just going to real sloppy color here. All right. And then my second to the lightest color is going to be my light prawn. So I'm just going to go once again right kind of where the illustrator did all that for me, all that work. I'm just going over those lines just like so. And this one you really see how it's like, ooh, that looks really bad, more so than the cactus. And so you'll really see the benefit of using your lighter color as the blender. All right, now I'm going to go back over again one more time with this, and it's just going to blend it all out. And as you can see, I've gotten outside of the lines in some areas, which is a-okay, because I can just take my white pen and go over those spots. It doesn't have to be a jelly roll pen. It can be any any white pen that can go over alcohol ink. I just know that this one I have does go over it quite nicely. And see, still a little harsh, so I'm just going to pay a little bit of attention to that area, and there it goes. It loosens up. And now I have a cute little pot, and I'm just a novice. All right, so that is how you, as a novice, can use alcohol markers and do your shading and get it to look effortlessly. I would strongly recommend just staying away from the blending tool. I like to use it on dark hair to add in highlights, but other than that, I usually don't do much with it. All right, so let's go ahead and start to assemble this card. I went ahead, took the liberty of coloring all these in, and I cut out on my scan and cut these two little images. So this is what I'll be using on my card as well. And then I went ahead, and since my background is pink with red and green, I'm not going to ink the edges red. I'm actually going to ink the edges green, and my emphasis is going to be green. I'm a little bit concerned that if I were to pull in the red with the pink, it's going to look like I'm trying to do Valentine's Day, even though it says Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to ink my edges green and do my focus pretty much on green, and I'll add a little bit of red at the end, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I'm just going to lay this down. Again, I took my card base from an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, cut it directly in half, folded it down the middle, creased it, I should say. I don't want to fold it because then that makes a spring and it doesn't allow you to get really good placement. I'm using, again, my art glitter glue. It's wonderful. Thank you, you guys, for suggesting this to me because I love it. And then I'm just going to lay this down first. Okay, and now from here, I'm going to lay out the rest. So I took some Renia foil paper and emerald. I die cut it out for my sentiment, and I'm just going to place that at the top. And I really am happy I have this tool. Not only does it help me conserve my glue that I tend to be a little bit generous with, it also allows me to apply little dots in different areas of this little thin cut. Now, when I do thin cuts with paper, I will just run it through my sticker maker. But with the Renia, I really just like to use a good glue. It is a slick surface. Okay, so make sure that I have enough on my edges. And then again, I'm just going to pop this on. And I can kind of slide it around. There is a little bit of wiggle room with it. But once it dries, it's dry. And it's kind of cool because it's like there's wiggle room with it, but it doesn't take forever to set up, which I totally appreciate. And then what I'm going to do is I have this little circle that I die cutted out of dark green paper from my stash. And I'm going to put this down and use it as a place to set my little stamped images. This is a great, I don't want to set it directly on this because it just kind of gets lost in the background. There needs to be an anchor. So I'm going to use just my circle cutter, and I just had this piece of paper in my stash. I never have used this color, so I had quite a bit of it. So it was a nice reason to pull it out. So I'm going to lay that down like so. And then I'm going to kind of figure out where I want these to be on this, and I want that to overlap like so. So I'm going to take this first and attach my stamped image first, like so, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use some pop dots on it just to give it that little something extra. Now remember, I want you to use your stash, and once you do create your card representing your area or where you grew up, I want you to post it on Instagram, and I really want you to tag me on it. Just do @BetsGolden, and I want to share these in my Insta story, my feed. I want to share whatever you guys do, you know, also my Facebook, Twitter, all of that. So I really want to see what you guys do. So make sure that you tag me, because I will definitely share your art and follow you. So if you subscribe and follow, I always try to follow back. All right. So this is looking pretty cute. It could be done, but I want to add something here in red. I was going to do some Nuvo drops in red, and then I was thinking like some glitter would be pretty, but then I found these sequins and I'm like, oh no, that's what I want. So I'm going to add just 3 sequins to the center of this on the red side, because they are multicolor. And it will be done. All right, so I'm just picking up some red. And you guys, if you don't have a little tool to pick it up, don't worry. You know what you can do? Just lick your finger and slap it on. It'll totally work. All right. So there we go. That is a cute little Christmas card. Represents Arizona. Pretty clear where it's coming from. And, oh, I need to ink the edges now that I can fold it. I need to ink that green. So I just want to think about your area. Tell me what, without telling me where in the country you are or what part of the world you are, tell me what is something that is unique to your area. You know, maybe you are in Seattle, so you could do one on coffee. Maybe you're in Oregon, so you could do one on waterfalls. Maybe you're in California and you're in San Francisco. You could do the Golden Gate Bridge. You could do a seascape type background. A cityscape type background. Maybe you are in, let's see here, New York, same thing. You could do the Statue of Liberty. Put, you know, a Santa hat on the Statue of Liberty. Maybe you are in Hawaii. You could do Santa on a surfboard, or you could do, maybe you're in Palm Springs. You could do a palm tree and do little gems, you know, on the palm tree to make it look like it's lit up for Christmas. Think about it. Let me know what your idea is in the comment section below. All right, I really want to see these. I think that this is going to be a fun project for you. It might seem a little bit scary and intimidating, but I hope it's also exciting and it helps get your creativity going. All right, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I certainly hope that you consider doing so. I really love it when you guys share my videos. It certainly helps me out. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And in addition to what I already asked, leave whatever questions or comments you have in the comment section below, and I will make sure I read them and get back to you. Until next time, happy crafting!